You know, before YouTube fucked it all up, I had the greatest job in the world, opening for Hypnocast every night. But then we got the call, and YouTube hammered us for Moxie's tits.
So now I'm jobless and broke with nowhere to go.
Your phone ringing.
Oh, the phone is ringing.
Big boy, come pick up your phone. How you know pick up your phone,
Hello, this is the Gopher. Who is it?
Hello, Gopher. The time is now. Hypnocast Season 3 is here, and we want you back.
Holy shit, boys, we are back in business. That son of a bitch is gonna scream any minute now. Let the show begin.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Probably all agree you can't cut 12-year-old Timmy's cock off.
Yeah. I like how you said cut for like half a second.
Yeah. Well, it's cut and cock, and it came out cuck, and yeah, that's. Whoops! Oh fuck! Oh no! Mistakes were made.
He's been waiting in the shadows patiently.
I just smashed JT the fuck out of this.
Your face is turning red.
Yeah, because I know that the next SNH I'm gonna be fucked.
Oh yeah.
But at least I
with a
won't be
horse
fucked.
cock.
That's an unknown part of the map, so I didn't see it yet. Could I survive if I jump? Nope. Nope. Nope.
America the greatest country in the world?
Absolutely not.
If you were offered a one-way ticket to leave the country, never come back, but it's all expenses paid, would you accept that offer?
I don't think that I would leave. I wouldn't leave either.
Wow. Oh, I just, it's okay. I did that. I took him with me. Oh, shit.
Yo.
It's always the black people holding everybody else down.
Time out. All right. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to bed. I'm tired. Tired of this shit. This communist ass game, whatever. This doesn't want
Somebody
me to
else got it. You didn't get in.
Yeah, it's just a lot of racism today. All right. Y'all have fun. I'll just continue to watch and go concede.
Sounds good.
And look at this motherfucker pretending he's gonna watch more Stranger Things.
Yeah, you know he's gonna watch Stranger Things all day. Either that or like some game or something.
Doesn't mean I don't have my phone next to me.
Watching porn.
That's tomorrow. Okay, bye.
MILF Hunters Part 14.
Now, Hypno, I could have hit you with a shuriken. I opted not to because I'm a good friend.
That's fucked up, you liar. You're a liar. You're an absolute liar. You're a liar. I knew it. Never trust white people.
Thank you, and I would have done it. You could have said thank you, but you said like, yeah,
Because I knew you were going to do it. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand why it does that. That's so weird, considering it was literally just working on Griffcast. But it's just another issue to add to the ever-growing list of problems. Anyway, welcome everybody to another episode of Hypnocast. We're gonna dive down the rabbit hole that is known as the internet. But before we do any of that, you got to bring it in close, ladies and gentlemen. Bring it in close. Come on, we got to hug it out. Listen, we're almost at the end of the week. It's a Thursday. It is a Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. Bring it in close. We got to hug it out. Come on, let's go. Hey, yo, what? I'm hugging your guts after you drank that less beverage? What? The fuck am I reading, bro? Bring it in. Let's go. Maybe don't hug that guy. Maybe avoid hugging that guy. The fuck? And listen very closely. If you are watching over on YouTube, like the stream right now. Right now. If you are watching over on Rumble, like the stream. If you are watching over on Twitter, like the post. And if you are watching anywhere else right now, well, that's just impossible. And you're gay. So like the stream. Don't let it happen to you. Can I get a mic check, please? Mic check, titty check, balls check. What are we checking, boys? What are we checking today? We got a lot we got to talk about, man. It's been a pretty crazy day so far. In terms of video game news, we got a massive indie feltoning, which, by the way, I kind of want an apology because I said that Slay the Spire 2 was going to do gangbusters numbers. And people were like, no, it's not going to do gangbusters numbers. Why would you say that? The first game didn't do it. I was like, bro, it's going to do gangbusters numbers. And people just didn't want to believe me. And now here we are. We're about to talk about Slay the Spire. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. But what else are we checking? What do we got? Boricua check? Hey, shout out to you, man. Hypnotic? Huh? Who would say that? Believe it or not, Kurakami, a lot of people said that. A lot of people said that Slay the Spire 2 was going to do well. But when I said it was going to do hundreds of thousands of concurrent players, people were telling me that wasn't going to happen. And I'm like, that's going to happen. And then I tried to explain how, you know, looking at the wish list, I believe it was the number one wish list of game on Steam, or one of the number one wish list of games. It was like a lot of people said it, man. They didn't say it was going to fail. They just said that I was crazy for saying it was going to do the numbers that it's doing. Anyway, it doesn't matter, boys. It doesn't matter. What else we got, man? We got Shaniqua check. We got a 7 days to high guard shutdown check. Are people really counting it down? Are people really counting it down? I'm not surprised, man. We got, what else? Got Jurassic Park Classic Collection check. Very nice. Very nice, man. That's awesome. Good shit. Good shit. We got Hello check. I'm so high check. Sequels always do better if the game is good and they don't remake the sequel for the modern audience and it tells way more check. We got poll is broken check. I don't know what's going on with the YouTube polls. I definitely put a poll out there, but some people are saying they can't see it, so there's really nothing I could do about it. Try refreshing, but that's basically it. Marathon still hasn't hit 90K check. Yeah, it did better than even I said it was going to do. All you people out there that were like, oh, you're crazy if you think Marathon's going to do 75,000 concurrent. The fucking game did 86,000 concurrent. I said the game was going to do well. Bro, I'm on point with my guesses, man, for the most part. I'm on point with it. All right, man. Listen, our ESG scores are at their maximum. We're fully funded, boys. Let's like the stream. Like the stream. Let's do the Bigot Army roll call. Let's see who is in this chat right now hanging out with us today on this glorious Thursday. It's a beautiful Thursday, boys. Let's see who we got in this chat, man. We got Karnak Ketchel. We got Nick Havoc. 17 Crash Gaming. We got Hanny. We got Little Jim's Halo. What's going on, man? Resident Evil 9 Insanity hard check. Are you playing RE9 on Insanity? I think Leon was doing that, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out to you, man. We got Lucky Boy with the empanadas. You got to love the empanadas. You got the Gaming Wolf 87. We got Hanny. We got Mr. Melancholy. We got Michelle Little Beastie. We got Grimlock, Felsteph, Benjamin Altman. We got Genetic Spore over on Rumble. We got Ron DFK. Everybody look at the chat and look at the hat. Do you see the hat in the chat? It's a beautiful thing. Jason Alator, Dark Tanave, Crash Collins over on Rumble, Draconic over on Rumble. We got Hanny. We got Melodic Method. What's going on, man? My vote didn't go through. Oh, makes sense. We got Hanny again. We got Faye Summer, Chaotic Holy. We got Creepier 07. We got This is Sparta 9000. We got Blue Octopussy. We got Dragon Knight, Commander Sonok, John D. Dark Dymo says he's not here. All right, so that means we cannot acknowledge anything from Dark Dymos. It can't be a regular chat, a super chat, a membership, nothing. He's not here. He's not here. If anybody asks for him, he's not here. We got Magni. We got Matthew with the Hero Priest. We got Nick Havoc, the voice of the water. We got Mookie Dookie over on Rumble. We got Guy Karamon hiding in his box playing Slay the Spire 2. Why am I not surprised? Why is he back in the box? You in this box, man. We got Raza over there on Rumble. We got Faye Summer. We got Toxin. We got Fractal Mage. Limitless Andre. King Demon Wing the Legend. We got Oliver Adam. We got Timothy with a new laptop check. Very nice, man. Enjoy. All right, 4 more people. Let's go. We got Dikachu. Hola. What's going on, Dikachu? How you doing? We got Old Man Cat saying I is here. We got Cleric Heretic. Marathon shutting down check. It's not going to happen anytime soon, buddy. We got Nitro Buds 77. We got Sanikin. We got Diablo Mozart. Judge Magister Gabranth. What's going on, dude? And last but not least, we got Novak, Craig Browning. We got John D, the legend. We got Rudoka, Little Jim's Halo, A Kickin' Danitz, and Andrew Stewart, Grimlock, and Secret Final Boss saying your mom. And JR. What's going on, JR? How you doing? And Rossi, there you go. All right, guys, listen, I called out as many people as I possibly could. Let's sacrifice your fellow Bigot Army member. Let's see who's going to get the money shot today. Watch it be fast because people don't know how to defend themselves from the money shot because they don't want to. They secretly don't want to. They are whores for the money shot. It's unbelievable. It's really insane, you know? You can rest easy. We ain't sitting still. Go down by 3. Shielded booty. Luck to the next one. 1, 2, 3. We got Voice of the Water says no marathon or high guard. Go down by 4. The organism of the day is the whip poor will. A medium-sized nocturnal bird due to their haunting call. Myths claim that they hunt the souls of the recently dead. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Holy shit.
Why do we choose to say hello to people during the money shot? You have literally fucking 14 minutes where you can say hello to people. 14 minutes. And you choose to say hello during the money shot, the most dangerous time of the stream. I don't get it, Christopher Lloyd. I don't get it. Oh my God, man. Congratulations, Christopher Lloyd. You are the recipient of the money shot today.
What the?
Like the stream, boys. Let's lower down the cheer. Like the stream. All right, guys, listen, we got a lot we got to talk about today. We got to talk about Slay the Spire 2. The game just came out at the same exact time as Marathon, which, by the way, it kind of proves to, like, kind of what I've been saying for the longest time. You know, obviously, Slay the Spire has a legacy behind it where it has a previous game that a lot of people have loved over the past few years. So them releasing next to a large title that you would deem to be AAA, live service, whatever, isn't as dangerous for them as, let's say, a smaller indie team that nobody knows about. But it kind of proves that if you're an indie game and you're trying to delay yourself because you're scared to release next to some AAA fucking release, if you have confidence in your game, fucking do it, bro. Like, who cares about the AAA game? Chances are you're probably going to do just as well, if not better, if you are a better game and you are priced correctly, which Slay the Spire is. It's priced correctly, and it is selling insane numbers right next to a AAA live service game that just released. from a massive studio, by the way. Bungie is a massive, massive studio. Sony, obviously a massive company. And they're just like, yep, we're going to release on the same day. We don't give a fuck. You know? So anyway, we'll talk about it. We're going to talk about Slay the Spire 2 because not only are they destroying Marathon inadvertently on a numerical sense and as an indie video game, but they also destroyed Marathon because they felt at them on Twitter. They jabbed Marathon in such a beautiful way on Twitter. It's unbelievable. So we got to go over it. We're also going to go over Mouse PI for Hire has finally announced their price. And people have their thoughts on it. You know, some positive, some negative. For me, I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle on this one. I kind of wanted them to be $20, but they're actually a little more expensive than that. So we're going to go over Mouse PIs for Hire price reveal and what that means for people. We're also going to talk about the new Xbox. Apparently, it's been confirmed that the new Xbox has a codename Helix. Project Helix, you know, because they got to make it sound cool. Whatever. And apparently they say that on Project Helix, you're going to be able to play your Xbox games, but you're also going to get to play your PC games, which is very interesting. I'm curious what that could mean. I think it's obvious what it means, but regardless, we're going to talk about what exactly is Project Helix. And of course, they didn't announce it until the brand new CEO came into play. So it just makes it seem like our theories about her taking the brand into the sunset is kind of coming to fruition. But regardless, we're going to talk about it and see what that means. We also got some fast topics. We got another Epic Games lawsuit. Apparently, Epic Games has finally discovered who is the most notorious Fortnite leaker on the internet, and they are suing that person. And come to find out, that is actually a former contracted worker of Epic Games that is also one of the biggest leakers online for Epic Games content regarding Fortnite, which is pretty damn insane. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Helldivers 2. Apparently, there is death threats that are happening over a very innocent challenge that was issued to the developers that he decided they wanted to take up. Somebody apparently offered to donate $1,000 to charity if the developers can beat Helldivers 2 on the hardest difficulty that they have in the game right now. And apparently that has led to people being mad at this person and doxing them, threatening their life, and all this weird shit. You know, basically boring internet stuff. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Final Fantasy 11. That's nostalgic for me. Final Fantasy 11, a 23-year-old MMORPG, apparently has so many people joining the game as people start to rediscover the greatness that is Final Fantasy 11 that they actually had to stop character creation on one of their busiest servers in the game because there's so many people playing the game again, which is kind of crazy. So we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about Pragmata as well. We got some Pragmata news, and we also got a little bit of High Guard news. I know we're so sick of hearing about High Guard, but we got to talk about it. Oh, I also got a little bit of Remedy news too. Something about Remedy that I think is a little bit hypocritical. We're going to talk about that. So we got a lot that we got to go over, ladies and gentlemen. But before we do any of that, we got to thank the people that took the extra step, man. We got to thank the people that are taking the extra step every single day to support the channel. I appreciate you guys. Let's go over the pre-stream legends. I seemingly have lost some of your donos, though, on StreamYard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into fan funding over on YouTube, and I'm going to see who did what. So first, to start us off, we got a Kickin' Danitz gifting a membership over on YouTube. Thank you so much, my brother. I appreciate that. The one membership. We got Radoka with a 2, says 3/8/26 Women's Day. Woman Simulator releases. 3 days, boys. 3 days. Woman Simulator releases in 3 days. We're going to have a good time playing that one. We got Mr. Melancholy with a 149 super sticker burger. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. And now we caught up. We got Ebonics Kang with 12 months. Says someone help Grandpa with his mic. Yeah, clearly, even though I was able to figure it out. But yeah, somebody help me. Somebody help me. Help me out, according to Kang. Thank you so much, brother. We got Speedy Cake with a 5. When does a joke become apparent? When it slips through your back door using a turkey. Every day. Every fucking day, boys. Every fucking day. We got Ron DFK with a 2. Says, I dropped communism class because of lousy marks. I see what you did there. Thank you so much. We got Odin Dark with a 5. Says, I bought Nevergrave and Scott Pilgrim EX not too long ago. I'm looking forward to more indie games felting AAA sludge. It's always a great time when it happens. We're gonna talk. I can't wait to talk about Slay the Spire. It's gonna be great. All right, that catches us over on YouTube. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate that. And then over on Rumble, we got Gray the Merchant with $1 as I put my card down for Slay the Spire 2. Worth it. Unlocked all classes and having that Coke need for more. Good to be back in the Spire. Suffa's Marathon, Suffa Beesh. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Mervoth with $1. To the shock of no one, Fatal Frame remastered, censored as usual. I hate RE9 insanity, bullet sponges, and everything moves like 28 days later. I'm scared and stressing. Sounds about right. Mervoth with $1, 2026. The sequels to Concord. Concord 2 lasted, what, a month? I give Marathon the generous 3 months. 6 if they're stubborn as hell. You guys thinking Marathon is going to die in 3 to 6 months? Bro, I don't know how to break the news to you, but that's just not going to happen. This game is not going to die for at least a year. They made more than enough money off of the Bungie fanboys that they could survive for a few months easily, especially with the backing of Sony. They're not shutting down, bro. This is not a... I've been telling people this since the beginning, but nobody wants to hear me, I guess. DJ Conic with $1. Good day. Got popcorn and nice mic, Hypno. Thank you, DJ Conic. Appreciate that. And then he gives some membership over on Rumble. Appreciate that, man. Space Monkey with $1. Snowbreak shut down by radical feminists. These feminists write fanfics about doing horrible things to children and women who love men. It all sucks for them. Space Monkey with $1. These radical feminists are threatening our other games that cater to male interests. In retaliation, men are mass flagging female Gruner games. What's that going to do? Space Monkey with $1. Begun the Guna Wars. Okay. I guess. Thank you for the $1. Karnak Ketcher with a 5-sub. Hypno. You ever heard of the indie game Diesel Knights? Think of it like Steampunk Titanfall. Still in alpha testing, but is on Steam. Apparent. No, I have not. I've never heard of Diesel Knights. What kind of game is that? Never heard of that. We got Crash Collins with a membership. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Deadeye's Lock with $1. When does Bonnie Blue suddenly become relevant? When she got a fuck for it. That's actually pretty insane. Shout out to Deadeye's Lock. Appreciate that, man. And last but not least on YouTube, King Demon Wing saving the day. I was about to announce no Kiryu for the first time, but King Demon Wing came in with the 5 membership banger.
Let's fucking go! It's a membership banger!
And as I said, considering that's the first one of the stream, you already know what that means. Shout out to King Demon Wing. Thank you so much, my man, for the 5 membership banger. I appreciate that, man. As we are trying to get to 580. 500 muted again? Why is it muted? It's not muted. I'm not muted. Stop fucking with me. I'm not muted at all. Boomer Nautic is here. I'm not muted. Is mic check tonight? I'm not muted. What are you talking about? Thank you, King Demon Wing. I appreciate that, brother. All right, boys. We're fully caught up. We're fully caught up. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that as we are trying to get to 580 tier 1s in a row and 271 tier 2s in a row. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. Let's get into the content, boys. And we're going to start off with just a fast topic about Mouse PI for Hire. So, Mouse PI for Hire put out this post today, and props to them for their marketing. I gotta say, Mouse PI for Hire has really been doing a great job with their marketing, which for a lot of indie teams, that's usually where they struggle with. But Mouse PI for Hire has not, struggled with this. I think they've done a very, very good job with their marketing and social media presence and all that. But Mouse PI for Hire has officially announced today that the game is going to be $29.99. Apparently, it features 12 to 20 hours of gameplay, depending on how you play. Now, a price to value comparison, I don't think it's awful, but I also don't think it's amazing. I got to be honest with you. I was kind of hoping this game was going to be $20. And I know there's going to be some people out there that are going to be like, well, you know, it's got hand-drawn animations. It took a lot of time, whatever. That's fine. That's fine. But I just feel like I made it sound like 50. No, I didn't. I said it was a little bit higher than 20. A little bit. That 50 is not a little bit higher than 20. 30 is a little bit higher than 20. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like $20 would have been the guaranteed mega hit number price. And I know people are going to be like, well, it's only $10. But believe it or not, that $10 will really affect some people's decision, you know, to buy the game day one. I want this game to do very well. I think it's going to be very clear that it's going to be a very good game. And for me, yeah, of course, I think it's going to be worth $29.99. But I'm just thinking from the grand scheme of things. I don't know. I just feel like 20 would have been the number that really would have took this game to the next level. But you know what? Listen, like I said, for me, I'm kind of in the middle on this. I don't fucking like. I don't have a, you know. I guess I don't have like a thought either way. I could kind of see both reasons, you know. But Mouse PI for Hire is going to be $29.99 at release. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the price is now live on Steam. I have to check. Let me just check really quick. I'm almost positive it is. Hold on. Mouse, or maybe it's not. Hold on. Oh, it's not. Okay, so they haven't put that price on Steam yet, but they did announce it though. They put it in recent events and announcements over on Steam, so they haven't actually put the price though. Yeah, so $29.99 US, which means, you know, again, not awful, but not exactly where I thought it was going to be. So Silk Song was 25. Silk Song was 20, actually, wasn't it? I don't think Silk Song was 25. I think Silk Song was 20. Or am I bugging? Let me check. Maybe it was 25. I don't remember, to be honest with you. Hollow Knight Silk Song. Let's see. Hollow Knight Silk Song was 20. It's $20. $19.99. That's what I figured. Yeah, it wasn't 20. It wasn't $25. If they charged $25, I would understand Hollow Knight Silk Song charging $25. If Hollow Knight was $29.99, I would probably understand that because the amount of hours you get out of that game is crazy. But anyway, regardless, the point is, this has nothing to. This is not indicative of like the gameplay or anything like that. I'm sure this game is going to be really good. I can clearly see the passion in this game. If this game ends up being bad, I would be fucking shocked. I would be genuinely shocked. I'm just saying that $30 for this game is going to put it amongst, I don't know. It's gonna make it an interesting decision for some people. Not everybody. Most people will still probably buy it. But I was just hoping it was gonna be $20. That's all I'm saying. But hey, it is what it is. $29.99 for Mouse PI for Hire. And hopefully they can stick to their release date and stop delaying the fucking game because I want to play the game. I want to play the game. Or you know what they might do? Here's a fun fact. You know what they might do? So what a lot of indie games do, actually, let me see something really quick. Hold on. So Slay the Spire is not doing it. Okay. So what I was gonna say is what they might do is a lot of indie games, what they do is they'll release their game, and to push sales, they'll release their game with like a 5 to 10% off discount. So they might be bumping the price to $29.99 because they're probably gonna push they're gonna push it to like a 10% sale to try to push as many sales as possible, which means it might drop the price down, you know? So that's probably what they might be doing to give themselves a little bit of that ceiling room. So that way, when they drop the price, they're not losing as much money, if that makes sense, you know? So $29.99, 10% off, whatever. I think that might move some units, but we'll see anyway. Let me catch up on supers. We got Archangelus, 12 months. He says he finally made it to the 12-month mark. Thank you all for the hard work. Hypnotic, always looking forward to the gaming and nerd out fun. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Kang with a 189, $29.99 still a buy. If it was 50, it would be Well, that's what I'm saying. I think most people will say okay at $29.99, but I think they are gonna lose some people because you guys know I talk about impulse buy all the time. And for a lot of people, $20 or less is impulse buy. They don't even think about it, right? 25, I think the number is 25 actually. $25 or less, people don't think about it. Anything above $25, people suddenly start thinking about it. It's psychology. And I just think that they probably are giving up sales at the $30 number if they don't put the game on sale. If that's not their strategy and they're going to release at $30, I think they're going to lose some people, you know? And is it going to be a lot of people? I don't know. I'm just saying they're going to lose some people. That's all. But in any case, we're caught up on YouTube. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Rumble, we are caught up. All right, let's X out of this. Let's go into Remedy. So we got a little quick topic with Remedy that I think is really fucking ironic. Okay? Really ironic. Really quite hilarious. And to be honest with you, really quite hypocritical. So I came across this article on The Gamer that was probably written by AI. Let's see who wrote this. Joshua Robinson. Yeah, AI. Anyway. I came across this article from The Gamer. And it says the following. Remedy reveals that Control Resonant will not feature a playable Jesse Fadden. And the reason why is because they don't want to mislead players. Now, you're probably asking, well, how is that hypocritical? How is that like, what's the deal here? Why is this a story? The reason why it's a story to me is because for them to openly admit that you're not going to play as Jesse Fadden because they don't want to mislead players, I find it kind of fucking hilarious that this is coming from the people who made Alan Wake 2, where naturally, when you see the words Alan Wake 2, you're thinking you're going to play the game as Alan Wake, only to find out that the majority of the game you play as somebody who's not even Alan Wake. You know what I mean? So that's why I think it's kind of funny that suddenly they don't want to mislead players, but they had no problems with, and I guess they'll say, well, we didn't mislead you. We told you you weren't going to play as Alan Wake. I don't know. I just think it's kind of fucking hilarious that they're saying that this is because they don't want to mislead players. That's really all it is. So, but in case you guys were curious, you will not be able to play as Jesse in Control Resonant. I don't know anybody who thought they would, to be honest with you. I think they thought that she might have showed up in the game as like an NPC, but, you know, not somebody you actually play. But regardless, anyway, it's not going to be an Alan Wake 2 situation where you suddenly start playing as Saga, the race-swapped FBI agent. Exactly. Sir Spamela. All right, so like the stream, boys. Let's X out of this. We're going to move fast tonight because I got a lot of catching up to do on work, boys. Let's go to Pragmata. So I know a lot of people are excited about Pragmata. They're interested about Pragmata. Some people are a little bit too interested in Pragmata, if you know what I'm talking about. Pre-Dawn Corpse for 7 months says, Hypnotic, I noticed that Smash JT is gay. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Thank you, Pre-Dawn Corpse, for 7 months. It's awesome. So a lot of people are interested in Pragmata. I do have some good news if you are interested in Pragmata. Pragmata, apparently, they announced that they're going to be releasing an entire week earlier than they planned. According to this article here from PC Gamer, Pragmata is releasing a whole week earlier than planned because who cares? It has April all to itself. So now apparently the game is going to be releasing on April 17th, ahead of its earlier April 24th release date. So that's cool. You know, for people who are excited about Pragmata. I will be griftcasting Pragmata. I have my concerns about the game, and I've made it very known, especially when it comes to like the combat and stuff. But I'm hoping to be proven wrong. But I can only imagine, considering Capcom's latest trend with the way they release PC games, that it's going to be a broken fucking mess probably on PC. So it kind of sucks because it ruins my excitement. It ruins my excitement for Capcom games on PC. But regardless, it is what it is. Is it really a Mega Man game? Everybody keeps saying it's a Mega Man game, and they openly said that it's not a Mega Man game. Like, and granted, they could be lying just to keep the surprise or something like that. But I don't know if they would. Why would they do this? Like, what kind of fucking Mega Man game could this really be? You know, I don't think this is a Mega Man game, guys. I think this is just them trying to do something different, you know? You can say Reddit instead of people who are excited about Pragmata. Well, I mean, yes, it is on Reddit, but there are people outside of Reddit that are also acting weird about Pragmata. You come across it every once in a blue moon on Twitter. Random fucking weirdos. But Oh yes, I believe that she's gonna show up in the game. Play the demo if you haven't. It's really good. I'm not gonna play the demo. It's Hypno Mama 2 coming out. Lols. No. So yeah, I don't think this is gonna be a Mega Man game, but I know that's been a theory for the longest time. People are like, oh, they're gonna reboot Mega Man into a girl instead of a boy. It's like, let's relax. I don't think. Yamato says, I'm scared for the mods, bro. I don't even want to talk about that, bro. I do not want to talk about that. I'm good, bro. I am good, bro. Like that's, oh boy, that's gonna be a really fucked up part of the internet when this game releases. I'm just gonna leave that in the ecosphere of the world, okay? Because holy shit, I can only imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine. Anyway, so I already know that there's going to be articles, or stories of Nexus mods banning an ungodly amount of mods. Like they're going to ban so many mods, and we all know which kind of mods we're talking about. And all it's going to take is these fucking weirdos on Twitter that try to say like every single video game ever would be better if the character had bigger tits or something. Somebody's going to be really weird and slip up. They're going to be like, yeah, this video game would be amazing if the character was hotter. And I'm like, brother, what are we doing, my guy? Like what are we doing? Can we stop? Can we stop right now? They're like, there's a limit, okay? There's like can we stop? Oh, man. Yeah, Sanguine, you're not lying. So what's interesting, I kind of want to see how this plays out, because there are websites like DEG Mods and Ayaka Mods that have tried to make their entire personality and website and business strategy based around mods that are banned on Nexus mods are available on their website, censorship free. I would be very curious to see how they play this. I would be very curious to see how they play this, right? Because there are going to be mods out there that are absolutely going to sexualize Pragmata's character. Unfortunately, it just is what it is. It's going to happen. We all know it's the internet. It's going to happen. So I'll be very curious to see if they decide to allow it or not allow it. I'll be so curious to see. But we'll see. Pragmata's going to have a hard time. Yep. It's going to be interesting. The internet's going to turn that game into something really interesting from a conversational standpoint. Midnight Mike on Rumble says the internet, both the greatest and the worst thing to happen to humanity. Facts. Oh my God. Oh my God. Facts, bro. It's gonna be interesting. We'll see how it goes. Anyway. All right, let's continue. So that's Pragmata releasing a week early for normal people out there. If you're excited about Pragmata for the gameplay perspective or just want to try a new IP, it releases 1 week early. Let's talk about the next Xbox. Let's talk about that. So apparently, it was announced by the brand new CEO, Asha Sharma, which again, I find it highly suspicious that, there was no mention of Project Helix up until she came into office, and now all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we got a brand new Xbox we're working on, boys. We're going back to the basics. Anyway, according to PC Gamer and Asha Sharma, the next Xbox is codenamed Project Helix, and it will play your Xbox and PC games. Now, this is obvious. This was not so obvious, right? Like playing your PC games. So what are you trying to say, right? So I think what's going to happen here is, number one, if you guys remember, what's her name? The previous president. What's her name? I forget. Sarah Bond. So Sarah Bond ended up saying that the next Xbox was going to basically be a PC, right? Or essentially be like an affordable PC for people in their homes. So it kind of makes sense, right? It kind of makes sense that you're going to be able to play your PC games. So how I take this is, at the bare minimum, you're going to have access to Steam, right? You're probably going to have some sort of Windows integration with the next Xbox. It might even just run on Windows for all we know. You're going to have access to Steam. You'll probably have access to Epic Games. I don't know if you're going to have access to websites like GOG or anything like that, but I think it's pretty clear that you're going to have some level of access to to PC digital storefronts, which I find to be really interesting, considering the entire conversation online right now, which is people are demanding, bro. There was this photo. Let me see if I can find it really quick. There was this photo on Twitter, and it was fucking cringe, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. People out here really be acting quite fucking cringe. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So if we go to Asha Sharma over on X, right? And hold on. CEO of Xbox, and we look at her post, okay? Let me see if it comes up because I saw it earlier. I should have bookmarked it. She said, "Great start to the morning with Team Xbox, where we talked about our commitment to the return of Xbox, including Project Helix, the code name for our next generation console. Project Helix will lead in performance and play your Xbox and PC games. Looking forward to chatting about this more with partners and studios at my first GDC next week." Oh, so apparently she's going to her first ever games developer conference. She's going to the new one. She's going to the new one, guys. She's going to the, what is it called? The Festival of Gaming. The one that Hideo Kojima was supposed to lead in the beginning and then he ended up leaving at the last second. Oh, man, that's going to be fun. She's going to the GDC. So people are like, again, without any exclusives, it will flop. Again, oh, God, man. People really, they're trying to do the console wars again. They really are. They're trying to do the whole, we need exclusives. We need to stop other people from playing our games so that we feel validated in the console that we bought. This one. This is the post right here. Bro, I'm sure this was an innocent comment, but I couldn't help but fucking cringe, bro. I don't know what it was. Maybe I'm just not in a good mood today. But this person says, "Hey, Asha, a simple yes or no question." Well, that's kind of demanding. "Are you supporting gamers like me on your next generation of consoles or not?" Now, I could take this a couple of ways, okay? But there's really only one way to take this. He's basically saying, are you going to basically bring back exclusives? You're going to focus on Xbox. This guy's an Xbox only. I have never met an Xbox fanboy. This is an Xbox fanboy. He's literally got all the Xboxes, it's literally just all Xbox, right? Either that or he could be saying his physical collection, which is very impressive, by the way. This is very nice. It's also not worth anything, but it's also very nice. He could be talking about physical, which, again, if you think Xbox is going to support physical collections, you're out of your mind. They're one of the first ones to abandon physicals on consoles. They completely abandoned it, right? So, yeah, I don't really know what he means by that. It was very vague, right? It was I don't know how you could be so vague and yet so demanding at the same time. Like, I just want a yes or no question, bitch. Are you supporting gamers like me, or are you not? Brother, Xbox has not been supporting physical games for the longest time. I would probably exit stage right if I were you, and just kind of let it be. But in any case, so let's go back. Let's go back to this article from PC Gamer and kind of talk about this whole nonsense. Now, say yes or else. Yeah, exactly. It's like, say yes or no, bitch. Anyway. So let's scroll down. Now, went over the whole bullshit with her tweet and whatnot. However, this is the first we've heard of the code name, and also the first time it's been directly implied that the new unit will be more of a living room PC, similar to a Steam machine or maybe an Xbox Ally you can set your drink on, than a conventional closed system console. It also seemingly puts real distance between Microsoft's future gaming strategy and that of Sony, which, despite the whole printing money thing, is reportedly walking back its plans to release future PlayStation exclusive. Bro, I'm telling you right now, it is unbelievable to me. Truthfully. And I know this is saying a lot because this is gaming journalism, right? So it really should not be shocking to me. But it is honestly a little bit shocking to me just how much these journalists are out here pushing this fucking story about PlayStation abandoning single-player games on PC as if it's fact, when there has not been a single official source or a single official statement saying anything like that. To put out something like this and to see the mass amount of them that are putting it out tells me that this seems a little bit coordinated, almost to the point where they're trying to speak something into existence. I don't know why that is, but that's just how it seems. Jason Schreier made one comment on a podcast, and every single one of these journalists started spreading the story. And then Bloomberg ends up saying, well, yeah, we had an anonymous source that said the same thing as Jason Schreier. And then they started quoting Bloomberg. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? There has nobody from PlayStation, nobody from Sony has said any of that. In all actuality, hold on, let's go back to Twitter because I got something even funnier. In all actuality, PlayStation Asia just recently made a post on Twitter that I thought was hilarious. PlayStation Asia yesterday said PC gaming elevated. The DualSense wireless controller is PC ready. Easy setup, epic immersion. Bro, they're advertising their controller as PC ready, and this is the company that supposedly is pulling out a PC with all their single-player games? What the fuck are we talking about? Again, this is why I was like, I made this post here. I said it's kind of hilarious to announce a PC-ready controller when there are journalists running an unverified story about you no longer releasing single-player games on PC. I think you guys need to verify ASAP whether that is true so people know what's happening. It's like, bro, let's just, can we nip this in the fucking butt, boys? Like, can we just know whether or not this is happening? Because my God, these guys are trying to speak this into his existence, and it's ridiculous. So, in any case, back to the Xbox. I just thought that was funny. So, in terms of the next Xbox, I don't know how this next Xbox is going to like actually save the fucking company. I don't know. Yes, I know it's nip it in the bud, but I say nip it in the butt because it's funnier. It's funnier, boys. Come on, keep up. Xbox, I don't know how this is going to save the brand. Because the problem with the brand, I feel like the damage has already been done. People have been trained as Xbox players. They've been trained to basically play their games a certain way, whether it's with Game Pass primarily, or whether it's with the fact that, you know, they don't really, a lot of Xbox players don't really buy their games anymore because of Game Pass. You know, they said whatever the boys in Xbox Lab have cooking, it's clear Sharma is pushing hard to establish herself as more than just a palliative care doctor who slides Xbox gently into the night. As original Xbox pioneer, Seamus Blackley theorized shortly after Sharma took the Xbox CEO job. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that because, again, if you're fusing with PC and you're going to allow people to play their PC games on Xbox, meaning through Steam or Epic Games, you really don't have a brand. Like, it's really not a brand. You're not a brand at this point. You kind of gave that up a long time ago. You know, it's not to save the brand, Hypno. It's just to satisfy existing hardcore Xbox customers. Yeah, but how is that going to satisfy hardcore Xbox customers? How is any of this going to satisfy hardcore Xbox? Like, these people are asking for exclusivity. And you're telling them, yeah, well, instead of exclusivity, we're just going to, like, not do that. You know what I mean? Like, you're not really satisfying the hardcore of the hardcore that are demanding that you go back to exclusivity. Just like PlayStation fanboys are demanding the same thing too. These people need the console war. They want the console war to come back. They've been so sad when the console war ended once Xbox kind of backed out, like, you know, a couple of years ago. So I don't know, man. It's pretty ridiculous, pretty hilarious overall. I guess we'll end up seeing what's going to come of this, but we're not going to see these consoles for another few years. So none of this really matters at any point in time right now. But I think what's going to happen is what you guys were saying. I think they are going to fuse it with Steam to some extent. I don't know if it's going to be an official kind of collaboration or if they're just going to allow the digital storefront to be on their platform. But regardless, I think we are seeing the end of Xbox. I really do. I think especially if they become a PC, once they become a PC, bro, that's it. You might as well just get a PC. Why do you want to get a PC with an Xbox brand on it? I don't know. It's just interesting. Anyway, all right, that's enough for that story. Let me catch up on supers really quick. What do we got, man? We got Odin Dark with a 2 says console wars are dead and Xbox One killed it. Absolutely. Kang with a 189. Don't build, save the RAM for the rest of us. Facts. Raptor Kratos with a 5. Doesn't Sony usually wait a year before putting their games on PC? What's wrong with these people? They do. That was their middle ground, right? So Sony was like, okay, we're going to keep our exclusives, but we're only going to do it as a time thing. And it's usually 6 months to a year. And then we're going to put the game on PC and make extra money once we got all the hype from our PlayStation fanboys. That's basically it. And it's been working for them. They've been making extra money, which again, I don't understand why they want to pull out of the PC platform. It kind of doesn't make any sense. But in any case, T-Jap says Xbox gaming PC equals a new Alienware. Oh, maybe. You never know. We got Simple Bullet Lycan with a 5 says, hey, I don't like the console war, but I do kind of miss exclusives. I did buy an Xbox PS5 for certain games. Well, exactly. And that's kind of like the conversation that we had on SNH a couple of weeks ago, where we were arguing about exclusives. At the end of the day, you have people that buy consoles because they like the console. You have people that buy consoles because they like the brand. But the truth is that most people buy consoles because they want to play a certain game on the console. And if they had a choice to play that game elsewhere, well, then they probably would. Which then brings up the conversation. Do you really like the console? Or do you just like the game that's only available on a certain console? You know? That's kind of where that conversation was. Because if you bought those consoles just to play those certain games, would you have bought them if you could play those games on PC, if you're a PC player too? You know? Or if you're an Xbox player, would you have bought a PS5 if you could have played Final Fantasy on Xbox? Or would you have said, fuck it, I don't need a PlayStation, I'll just keep my Xbox and play Final Fantasy? Or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. So, anyway, Kang with a 489 is a former Xbox fan. I was trained to build a PC and play on Linux just put the pillow over its face and play some YouTube music at $9.99 a month. Bro, I think it's going into the night, my guy. It's going into the night. Kicking Donuts with a 5. Isn't there some Xbox BS included in Windows 10, 11? What is it used for then? Yeah, there is. It's like, I think it's Game Bar or something like that. Xbox Game Bar or some shit. It's kind of annoying. Kiara Lunar with a 2. Late tax. Just had a shower and full body shave. So, like, I'm okay with the late tax, but why did I need to know about the full body shave, bro? Like, come on. I did not need to know about the full body shave, bro. I'm just saying, please, man, please. Zalosi for 22 months. Glad I got out of consoles during the 2000s. Bro, so I've been console gaming for a very long time. I got out of it seriously got out of it probably like 5 years ago. But I've been PC gaming since I was a young lad, okay? And I mean, I have the keyboard and mouse memorized like it's a fucking part of my DNA, you know? But even so, I always chose to buy games on PC if it was available on PC. The only time, just like you guys, that I bought console games is when they were only available on the console. That's the only reason why I had those consoles. And as I got older, I slowly but surely stopped caring. I was like, I just don't fucking care. Now, I've always said, like, for me, Final Fantasy was the console seller for me. You know, I've always bought every single new Final Fantasy game. That was pretty much the only reason why I had a PlayStation, to be real with you. But other than that, if it was available on PC, I bought it on PC. That was just what I did. And it's been that way since forever. With the exception of obviously like Nintendo games. But I gave up Nintendo a long time ago. So that's just what it is. But yeah, I've been playing PC for God, I'll tell you this. I've been playing PC for so fucking long. I remember what it was like. Again, you guys know my Steam account's very old. It's going to be turning 22 years this year. In, I think, June or July. I don't remember. I think it's June. Might be June. 22 years on Steam by itself. That obviously doesn't include, like, other video games that I played outside of Steam. But what do you call it? I remember when Steam was literally just a platform that was being built by Valve to allow them to update their games in a more easier fashion. Like they built Steam. They built Steam specifically so that they can update their games in an easier fashion. They built Steam to allow them to service their games. And then eventually they decided that they were going to start releasing some random, third-party games that were asking or they were asked to release or potentially publish some games. But that's what I remember. I remember when Steam was just a hub for people to update, your Counter-Strike, your Half-Life, your Day of Defeat, your fucking Team Fortress. Like that's what I remember. That old nasty fucking military green what do you call it? Fucking UI and shit. It was disgusting. I swear to God, I wish I can go back to like the younger me and inform him of what Steam is going to become. Because none of me, not my friends, my family, anybody that I know that used Steam at the time, none of us ever thought in our wildest dreams that Steam was going to become what it is today. There's not a single person that I know that ever thought of that. We just always thought Steam was going to be a throwaway thing that you use to update Valve video games, because at the time, Valve was a video game developer that happened to have a storefront that was only for their games. And then it ended up turning into what it is today. It's honestly mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing to see the progression, But anyway, so that's just what it is. All right, let's continue. Steam was pretty damn crude in the year. Yeah, it really was. It really, really was. Mr. Spanglish 199, I stick with console for its Blu-ray player. That's so funny that you say that, because that's what sold PlayStation when they first came out with the Blu-ray player. That was one of the reasons why it sold so well, because it was like a 2-in-1 kind of a thing. So for a lot of people, they really like that. A kicking down at Twitter too. Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer is why I have a Steam account. That's fair. That's fair. Shizuka with a 189. Great story, Abuelo. It's time for your nap. I would love to take a nap. I'm exhausted today, but I'm trying. I'm trying to put the energy out there for you guys, you big titty bitch. Thank you, Shizuka. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. All right, let's continue. Well, let me check Rumble first. Hold on. I don't think I saw anything on Rumble, but let me just double check. Yeah, no, we're good on Rumble. All right. Let me X out of that. Let's talk about Final Fantasy 11. Since we're going down memory lane, let's talk about Final Fantasy 11. Okay? So, Final Fantasy 11, a video game that I also have a metric fuck ton of experience, okay? Like, you guys know, I have had an immense amount of nerd conversations regarding Final Fantasy 11. It is unbelievable. This will always be, I got to tell you, man, when I look back in history for the most influential video games in my life, I would have to say Final Fantasy 11 is top 5 easily. Like easily. It's not even close, right? So Final Fantasy 11 apparently is seeing a resurgence. And this is not the first time we talked about this. I think we talked about this like 5-6 months ago, where apparently, people were rediscovering the game and people were kind of like, falling back in love with the game. But Final Fantasy 11 has been getting rediscovered so much, and keep in mind, it's like 23 years old, that apparently it's been getting so many new players that they had to stop character creation on one of its busiest servers, and are probably going to have to stop character creation in their other servers as well, at least for the time being, because this game, it's very old. It's very old. Now, I'm not surprised that Final Fantasy 11 is getting a resurgence, because people, the MMORPG genre is missing a lot of things right now that a lot of the older games had. A sense of challenge, a sense of community, the community probably being the biggest thing, a sense of wonder, a sense of exploration. It's missing all that. Final Fantasy 11 has all of that. Final Fantasy 11, I don't know how it is now, because obviously the game, when I quit the game, the level cap was 75. I think the level cap is 99 now. So I've been long gone from this game. So I don't know if they changed it. But from what I remember, Final Fantasy 11 was an extremely difficult video game. You had to have teammates. You could not solo in this game past level like 9 or 10. Once you got to level 10, you took your ass to the dunes and you got ready to join your first party, and you never stopped partying up since then. Right? But I imagine they probably changed it. They probably made it more casual, most likely. But back when I was playing it, holy shit, man. It was an amazing experience. because I know some people don't like that required partying thing because it was very old school, right? What you would do is you would party up with a few people and you would basically have your typical classes, right? You have a tank, you would have 2 melee DPS, you would have a black mage and a white mage. And then you would go out, do your party, and you would find a camp spot, right? Like you would basically find a spot where you could pull monsters to, and then the tank or a ranged or somebody would go grab a monster, aggro it, pull it to the group. You guys would kill it. You would get the experience. You would rest. And while the mages were resting their mana, the puller would go out and pull again and then it would just, you would just be doing that. And then you just be hanging out with everybody, talking this shit while you guys were leveling together. It was honestly a great experience. But I understand that for some people, especially now, people just don't have that level of patience. They just don't. People don't have that level of patience to sit around, try to find a party, advertise yourself to find a party, go level up, group up, find people. Like people are just very antisocial in what is supposed to be a super social video game. So I'm kind of happy to see games like this finding a rediscoverance, because what this means is that people are opening themselves up to video games like this again. And I think that's going to be good for the betterment of the overall online community, where people start learning a little bit of patience again. And, you know, video games will not be scared to showcase that level of difficulty or wonder anymore. But unfortunately, you know, I also think what's fueling this is people are really fucking mad at Final Fantasy 14. People are really mad at 14, myself included. 14 was such, like, this recent expansion was such a letdown. I can't even, I've talked about it so many times. I'm not going to talk about it again. But it was such a letdown that I think that this has led people to discover the roots of the game. And they end up going back to Final Fantasy 11 and they realize, wow, holy shit, the world is actually fun to explore. Every zone has badass music. It is a grand feeling video game. Like, you feel like you're exploring a world. You're not just in some random zone waiting for your dungeon queue to pop, like in Final Fantasy 14 and World of Warcraft. Like, you actually got to go out there into the world and explore the fucking world. You got to know where you're going. You got to know, like, which zone has which enemies and what are good camping spots and how do you level and all. And before you know it, you realize that you're actually playing a game instead of just playing a dungeon fucking queue simulator. You know? So I don't know. I think 14 really dropped the ball. And I've been saying for a while now that if they don't get their shit together with this next expansion, it's not going to look good, bro. People are going to check out of this game very fast. Very, very fast. So I don't know. We'll see. One of the biggest differences between 14 and World of Warcraft was player housing. And now World of Warcraft has player housing and it's infinite player housing. Everybody could get a house. And they're pushing that shit nonstop. Instead of them talking about raid bosses and difficult encounters and dungeons and all this shit, World of Warcraft, all their advertisements are literally about female streamers and player housing. It's the fucking Sims. So if player housing is the only thing that separates you from your competition, and now your competition has that, you better get your shit together. So I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, to be fair, Final Fantasy 14 has cat people. So, you know, all the gooners and furries, they're going to pick that. But, you know, still. Let me catch up on supers really quick. But that's a good story, man. I'm glad to see Final Fantasy 11's doing well. I consistently think about joining Final Fantasy 11 again, but then I remind myself that that's not a good idea. So, but I'm happy for the people that are. Wolf Cypher became a member all on his own. Shout out to Wolf Cypher. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then we got Smash JT with a 5. I wonder if the economy being a crap show has contributed to the lack of time people have to party up in games like that. Back in the day, had more time. I don't know if that's true, but honestly, I don't know if that's true, because so I'll explain it like this. Even back in the day, even on like World of Warcraft and stuff, one of the biggest arguments and one of the biggest fights that would happen all the time is casual versus hardcore. Literally all the time, which is why anytime someone says, oh, gaming was never negative until now, it's because of the chuds that gaming is negative. It's because of the YouTubers. Back in the day, people had a problem nobody talked about. That's bullshit. That is bullshit, okay? People would argue all the time on forums, in the game itself, And one of the biggest arguments was casual versus hardcore. Now, that argument really didn't come into Final Fantasy XI because most Final Fantasy XI players understood what the game was about, which was it's a hardcore game. Whether you are casual or not, it's a hardcore game. There are ways for casual players to get involved, but if you're not going to put in the effort, you could go fuck yourself and go to World of Warcraft. That's basically the attitude that 11 had back in the day. But in World of Warcraft, there was this fight nonstop about we have lives, we can't raid. It was just an excuse for somebody who wants the best gear in the game but didn't want to put in the effort. I'm sorry. That's just the fucking truth. You could say, oh, I have a life, I have this, is that. That's fine. But then that means that you can't do everything. You can't do everything in the game. They had content for you that you could do, and they had content that the hardcore players could do. Everybody had something to do. But there was always that argument. And then what ended up happening was World of Warcraft, slowly but surely, it's a slippery slope. It's always a slippery slope. So they started listening to the more casual players, and they started implementing things that were, for the casuals. That's where the entire honor system came in from. I don't know if you guys know that, but the PvP honor system that was introduced in World of Warcraft was introduced for casual players. And the ironic thing is it ended up being one of the most hardcore things you could do in the game. To grind out honor, to try to become a Grand Marshal, you had to no-life that shit. So it was so ironic. But they did it because they were like, PvP's for casual players. We're going to allow you the ability to gear up your character in semi-decent gear through the PvP system. That was the entire reason why it existed. And then it ended up being the opposite. So anyway, so then they started listening some more. And it went from we want better gear opportunities to we want to be able to solo pretty much everything, to we don't even want to go to the dungeon anymore, to we don't even want to go to the battleground anymore, to queue. And then that's how you ended up having Dungeon Finder, Raid Finder, all this shit where you don't have to go to the dungeon anymore. You don't have to use a summoning stone anymore. You don't have to have the warlock ability to summon the raid anymore. It's a slippery slope. And before you know it, what starts off as we just want more options becomes we want everything. And if we don't have it, we're not happy. That's what it is. Again, it's fucking casual players, bro. I mean, I don't know. Listen, I casual some video games. I do, but those are video games that I'm just not willing to go hardcore in. I definitely casual some of them. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm not going to go into a game that has a little bit more of a hardcore attitude as a more casual player and be like, I want you to design the entire game around me because I don't have the time to play your game. How does that make sense? Why are you going to design your entire video game around the people that don't have time to play your game anyway? What the fuck is the point of that? Thank you, Smash, for the 5. We got Jason Alator with a 5, says Final Fantasy XI was designed to test your skills. If they brought something like that back in a different game, the woke would cry hard and want it toned down. That's true. That's absolutely true. I mean, it happens in video games now that aren't even MMORPGs. It happens in Dark Souls. It happens in all kinds of video games. If I was more of a casual player, or I guess you could say like the modern audience, today I was getting my ass kicked in Neo 3 because apparently I didn't do a side quest that would have removed one of the bosses that you had to fight back to back in one of the final Crucible areas. So I ended up having to fight 2 very difficult bosses back to back. Not only that, because I had to fight 2 difficult bosses, it was even worse that apparently I was under leveled by like 20 to 25 levels under where I was supposed to be. So I'm fighting 2 difficult bosses, one that's apparently optional, back to back. And if you die in the second boss, you have to fight the first boss again. And I spent the entire stream fighting these bosses. Had I been the modern audience, I would literally have stopped after like 5 tries. And I would have went online to complain about how the game is too hard and it has to be nerfed. Or some shit like that. Some shit like that. But basically, we ended up beating the boss. We ended up beating both of them by the end of the stream, even though I'm 20 levels under and all that stuff. You got to farm levels? I don't give a shit. I did it without farming levels. Don't give a fuck, right? It's all about getting good. That's it. So I mean, that's basically it. And again, no shade to the casual players. I don't mind if you're a casual player. I just hate that you have casual players that try to take the entire game and mold it around them. You know? Thank you, Jason Alator. I appreciate that. Let me check Rumble really quick, and then we're going to continue. Rumble is good. Okay, so that's it for Final Fantasy. Let's talk about Helldivers, man. Helldivers being a little weird. I don't know why Helldivers being a little weird, but I mean, they're being weird. So apparently, I don't know if you guys know about this story. I never covered it. I forgot to be honest with you. But Helldivers 2, apparently there was a challenge, I guess. They called the D10 challenge, which the challenge was initiated by somebody in the Helldivers community to the Arrowhead developers. And they basically said, if you could beat your own game on the hardest difficulty, we will give you or donate $1,000, right? So what's interesting about this is I feel like, you know, this is a pretty fun challenge. If I was the developers, I'd probably want to do it. But essentially what it is that they believe that the hardest difficulty is damn near impossible. So they wanted to challenge the developers to see if they could do it. I think it's pretty fun. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But apparently the community did not take it that way for whatever reason that may be. To the point where Sony and Arrowhead had to address it and address the supposed hostility in the community. We do not tolerate threats of violence, harassment, or doxing. So apparently they got mad at this person for challenging the developers, which is so weird, bro. It's so weird. It's like one of those leave the multi-billion-dollar corporation alone situations. They got mad at him challenging the developers that they flat out doxed the guy. They threatened him with violence. They harassed him, and they basically chased him off of Reddit. People are just being totally fucking normal, boys. What began as perhaps a mischievous but otherwise innocent fan challenge to Helldivers 2 developers to play their own game on the highest difficulty in exchange for a $1,000 charity donation has turned into a complete quagmire. Both developer Arrowhead and publisher Sony are putting on their wading shoes in an effort to rid of its weeds. Arrowhead and Sony both address all players in a joint statement posted on official Helldivers 2 social channels on March 5th, making it clear that Arrowhead Game Studios and Sony Interactive Entertainment are tracking the situation currently unfolding surrounding the Dev D10 challenge, which started on Reddit. The initial post issuing the challenge made about a week ago establishes a serious offer to donate $1,000 to Arrowhead's preferred charity in exchange for a video of 4 of their developers playing an entire operation on Oshawane on difficulty 10. Another player took it upon themselves to assign specific loadouts to Arrowhead Staff 2, including CEO Shams Georgiani, for an additional $1,000, and Georgiani has recently been flirting with the idea of accepting the wager. Again, this all sounds fun. I think it's cool. You know, actually, it reminds me of something that happened with Final Fantasy XI. I don't know if you guys who played Final Fantasy XI remember this, but there was a boss that was undefeated for years in Final Fantasy XI. Does anybody know the name of the boss in the chat? Do any of you guys know the name of the original undefeated boss in Final Fantasy XI? Do you guys remember that? Let me see if anybody in the chat. Yes, lol, no Google. The first one who said it, exactly. Absolute Virtue. Absolute Virtue was undefeated for the longest fucking time. Okay, and I mean, we had articles from parents complaining about kids getting sick, right? Kids getting sick trying to beat the boss. It took a day to beat. No, Gogeta, I think that was Pandemonium. Pandemonium was the boss that took 18 hours to beat. We're not talking about Pandemonium. We're talking about Absolute Virtue was unbeatable because Absolute Virtue, what he would do is he had the 2-hour abilities of every single class. So eventually, when it took forever for you to finally get his health down, he would cast Benediction and fully heal, and you would basically just wipe from exhaustion at that point. Anyway, the point is, the reason why it reminds me of that story is because Absolute Virtue being undefeated, players were complaining about it. They were complaining about it nonstop. Square Enix did not want to nerf the boss at first. So what they ended up doing, Square Enix actually ended up releasing a video showing, in a very vague manner, by the way. They didn't actually tell you how to do it. They only showed them playing the game. They actually made a video showing how to beat Absolute Virtue. And even after that video, nobody still could understand how to beat that boss. They only basically teased it, but they zoomed in on the chat. They zoomed in on the chat to show what you had to do. Essentially, you had to use the same 2-hour ability. If I remember correctly, you had to use the same 2-hour ability that Absolute Virtue used within like a millisecond of time in order to cancel out Absolute Virtue's 2-hour ability. Anyway, it was a fucking mess. Okay, it was a mess, and it was one of the most controversial bosses of all time in an MMORPG. Okay, which, by the way, I think it's hilarious that they would actually make a design like that, considering that there was no North American servers at the time, so everybody's playing on Japanese servers, and we all had terrible lag. We all had absolute terrible lag. 1 second input lag, 1.5 second input. It was horrible. Anyway, so this kind of reminds me of that, and I think it's fun. I think it's great. Like, the developers getting involved, doing challenges in their own game. I think it's awesome. But apparently other Helldivers 2 players have been informing Jojani that within the player base, people are supposedly torn on the so-called Dev D10 challenge. Some people have even decided to retaliate against the original challenger with apparent death threats and phone calls to his employer. As one fan even tells Giorgiani in March 3rd Discord message, the guy who issued the challenge to you guys got doxxed today. It's a sad day. Bro, what the fuck is the point of that? What are you even doing, bro? Do you really, are you seriously taking Helldivers, that seriously? That you guys are mad that he challenged the developers to D10? Here's why I think they're mad, okay? And maybe I don't know, because again, I'm not a Helldivers fan like that, but here's why I'm gonna assume they're mad. You're gonna have some super elitist Helldivers players that are out there that take their ability to complete D10 so seriously that they feel threatened if other people can do it, right? So they probably believe that the person who issued the challenge, they think if the developers can't clear D10, then naturally that means that the developers are then going to nerf D10, which then allows more people to be able to complete D10, and that's going to remove the the good feelings of some elitist players that are feeling a certain way about D10. That's how I'm taking it. That's what I believe, because otherwise, why the fuck would you go out there and threaten someone's life over shit like this? Why would you do that? Why would you call someone's job? Can you imagine the phone call to that person's job? Can you imagine, hey, excuse me, Taco Bell? Yeah, you have an employee who is trying to nerf my video game, and I don't appreciate that. So he's actually a pedo, and you need to fire him. Bro, what? What the fuck? Storm says that's not it. So can you please explain why this person deserves death threats or his job to be lost? Can you explain? Because I'm totally out of the loop here. We got today, Arrowhead and Sony echo the sentiment. We do not tolerate threats of violence, harassment, or doxing towards anyone, players, creators, developers, moderators, or our teams in any community spaces. While we understand that Helldivers is a community-owned and operated channel, it should be safe and welcoming place for all people to voice their opinions and frustrations in a productive and respectful way. This kind of toxic behavior is unacceptable and not something we will ever condone. Well, good on them. We are continuing to monitor and review the situation internally with our external partners. But in the meantime, we are asking that our players practice kindness and respect towards one another. Crazy, bro. Absolutely insane. Grunge says, bro, those people that did that probably not even solo a D10. Probably not. Again, I don't understand how any of this ever should get to this point. I really consider it to be super loser behavior, and I understand the internet partakes in that, and I get that. But if you're doxing people over fucking video games, bro, how is that phone call even going to happen? You calling this person's job, how is that even going to go down? If I was that person's boss, I would laugh you off the phone. And I know that's just going to make you probably even more mad. But at the end of the day, bro, you really bringing the internet into real life like that? Are you insane? Seriously. Iron Reaver says, Hypnotic, I have 3,000 hours and Helldivers too. The reason that people are mad is because they don't want the devs to rebalance shit anymore because they go too far and run to. So basically that I'm right. They're worried that that they're going to overcorrect and they're going to nerf D10 to the point where it's just ridiculous and too easy, right? Is that basically it? I'm not surprised. Again, it's I've been on the internet long enough where I can see an elitist move, and I feel like that's kind of what it is. But listen, at the end of the day, if you're pushing someone off of not only just Reddit but an entire video game because they spoke up against the developers, like they're literally trying to hold the developers accountable and say, hey, we think you might have overtuned this. We'll challenge you to play your own game. I think that's fun, especially when they're donating money to charity. It's like, it's not like they're just issuing the challenge and shit talking to developers and shit talking the, they're going to donate money to charity. So what's the problem here? I don't know, man. Anyway, Helldivers are going to Helldivers, and yeah, that's what it is. Grunge says it's because they constantly glaze the poor balancing decisions the devs have been making. So they felt like this guy was attacking the devs' decisions. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Again, I think that these people are just a little bit too obsessed. Storm says it's a war in the community. Most of the Redditors are trying to protect devs from any form of criticism. That makes sense. And that challenge was to show that the game is unbalanced and weapons need buffs. Yeah, well, again, so you said that wasn't it, but that was it though. Like that's literally what I said. I'm not surprised. They are worried that the game is going to be either nerfed or overtuned or undertuned or whatever. They're worried essentially that the game is going to be nerfed, because even if you buff weapons, that means you're nerfing the game difficulty, right? You're making the game a little bit easier. So it ultimately comes back to, we don't want the game nerfed, and we, like Grunge said, we believe that the developers are just impossible to do any wrong. They're just gonna glaze the fucking developers completely. So I'm not surprised. Grunge says there are certain weapons that are basically useless. Yeah, so why would we not want that fixed then? Why would we not want that balanced? Right? And I feel that, yes, if the developers are really bad at balancing, I can understand how people in their mind would say it's better to leave it alone. But you're never going to truthfully get the game to the point where it needs to be if you're just going to leave bad design alone. Like, you should be telling them they need to constantly, maybe, do they have a public test realm? Do they have a public beta server or something where people could test patches? Because that would be useful, right? They could be spending all the time in the world trying to fix the game. They don't have that. They need that then. They really need that. Because that would solve the problem. If they can make a public test realm where they have a patch, right? And people could try it out and leave feedback, that would be a lot better than them updating the game, fucking it up, and then leaving people disappointed and frustrated while they wait for another fuck up. You know what I mean? So that's kind of stupid if they don't have that. But anyway, it is what it is. All right, that's enough of Helldivers. Let's continue. Really fast story with Epic Games. If you guys are unaware, Epic Games has finally found one of the most notorious Fortnite leakers. T-Jab says we're 185.19 away from tier 1. This is all. Thank you, T-Jab. I appreciate that. Getting felted tonight, but that's okay. Epic Games is suing one of his former contract workers, alleging that he is, in fact, a notorious Fortnite leaker, Adira FN. Adira FN spilled the beans on numerous Fortnite crossovers, using information that Epic claims he discovered while working for the company under NDA. Damn. Felted, bro. So they finally got him. Cohen signed an NDA as required by the terms of his employment, but instead of not sharing the sensitive information as he promised to in the legally binding document to which he affixed his signature, Epic alleges in its complaint that he repeatedly misappropriated Epic's trade secret information and broadcasted it publicly through his anonymous social media accounts on X and Discord, operating under the alias Adira FN and Adira FN Info. The leaked information could not have been obtained through any legitimate means and was not otherwise available to the public, such as through data mining public builds of Fortnite for unreleased content. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy to me how many people are willing to risk it all just for some social media clout. It's honestly fucking insane. I don't think he was probably making a ton of money from this, unless you're talking about like X money, where he would make a post. I don't know how popular his page was, But still, like you're really willing to risk it all and get sued by a massive corporation for social media clout? You're out here signing NDAs and then running a separate account anonymously in the hopes to get, I don't know, become a famous leaker? The fuck are we doing, bro? Yeah, he's gonna get felted, bro. Epic. Hold on, let me scroll down. This is their account. Solo leveling and Fortnite collab is confirmed coming soon. Likely only 1 month more after a very long wait. 103,000 impressions. Maybe you hope for different info. Sorry if you're disappointed. There are many more rumors and many leaks to share soon. Amusingly, when Adira FN info accounts were closed, a few followers speculated it was for precisely this reason, that Epic figured out who the leaker was and had dropped the hammer on them. He was a goated leaker, but I think Epic got his ass. He's on the run. My first thought upon hearing the case was why? Why would someone torpedo their livelihood and future employment prospects just to anonymously share some secret video game happenings? It was all for clout, Epic said. Oh, so it really was for clout. Oh my God. Wait. Oh my God. I was just joking. It was all for clout, Epic said in its complaint, which alleges Cohen regularly leaked confidential details about more than a dozen unannounced collaborations and upcoming content releases in Fortnite publicly to thousands of his followers and was then amplified to reach hundreds of thousands of others with millions of views. Bro, this guy literally did it for clout. Oh my God. What are we doing? You're about to get sued into the fucking dirt. They got oh my God. Yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So anyway, Epic apparently is demanding a permanent injunction against further leaks, the destruction of all confidential information in Cohen's possession. And this is the part that will hurt. Financial damages and legal fees. Oh, you're so fucked. And you know what they're going to make him do, right? They're going to make him go online and make a public apology like they did last time. Remember the last guy that they sued? They made him do a public apology. It's crazy. I don't know who's worse, them or Nintendo. Kiara Lunar would have too. I prefer PSO. It had the better cat race class. Makes sense. We got a Dare Soto with a 5. Hey, Hypno, for a second, the article will call my name. You don't say. You don't say. All right, let me drink some water, and then we're going to talk about Slay the Spire and Marathon really quick. We're going to talk about that. And maybe we could get to High Guard if we could get to High Guard. Hold on, let me see. Let me drink some water. Hold on. Yes, I know. A public apology is the least of his concerns. I know. Okay. We're going to talk about Slay the Spire because it's doing amazing right now. And not only that, it felted Marathon, which is also pretty damn hilarious. So I want to talk about it. Holy fuck, it's doing better than I even thought. Wow, this game is killing it. Good for them. Good for them, man. Another indie game. Massive hit. Okay. All right, guys, let's talk about Slay the Spire 2, a video game that not only is doing extremely well over on Steam right now, but it is what we like to call in the business a narrative destroyer, where you'll have people try to tell you that the only way you can have a successful video game is by, being a blockbuster hit, right? AAA game, all the budget in the world, gotta have an established IP. Nobody likes new stuff anymore. We've heard everything. We've heard every excuse in the book. Well, Slay the Spire has officially released, and as I expected and talked about many times on stream, it has now become the #1 seller on Steam today, even above Marathon and even Resident Evil Requiem. Now, as you guys know, Resident Evil Requiem was holding the #1 spot for a long time since its release, and it's been absolutely killing it. Marathon was also up there very, very, very temporarily, like literally for a couple of hours, because it all goes based off revenue. For those of you that don't know, the Steam top seller list is not based off copies sold. It's based off total revenue for the day. So if you are selling like hotcakes and you're actually more expensive, well, you're going to be on the #1 seller pretty easily. A lot of video games that have flopped in the past have hit #1 seller on Steam. Dragon Age of Veilguard is probably one of the most prominent examples where it was #1 on Steam for like a day and a half, and people were like, look at this. All the chuds were wrong. It's #1 on Steam. And it failed. The entire studio got felted. It completely flopped, right? So being #1 on Steam doesn't mean too much, but it does when you start to add up everything, like the numbers in totality, which we're going to do right now in this video. And we're also going to talk about how Marathon got completely felted by good old Slay the Spire because they made fun of Marathon on Twitter on their official account. So we're going to talk about that as well. So Slay the Spire is #1 seller on Steam today, above Marathon and Resident Evil Requiem. It is an instant hit. If we go over to SteamDB right now and look at the numbers, they are staggering, boys. They're absolutely staggering. Slay the Spire 2 is currently 5 minutes ago, which means at the time of filming this, it's going to go even higher. If I refresh it, oh, look, 44 seconds ago, it went even higher. Slay the Spire 2, as of right now, is at 253,898 concurrent players over on Steam. It is a metric fuck ton of people that are actually playing this video game. If you look over on Twitch, we don't really see this too often, but I kind of want to showcase this for those of you that really should understand how this stuff works. Over on Twitch, you got 131,000 people watching this game in a 24-hour peak. You got 57,000 people watching it right now. And there's almost 260,000 people playing the game. Very rarely do we ever see a video game have way more people playing it than watching it, especially on release day. That's how many people rather play this game instead of watch this game. Not only that, the original game, like Hollow Knight, showcased that there was a long established history there where people were discovering the game little by little. If you were to go to Slay the Spire, the first game, okay, and you look at the numbers, the game peaked 3 months ago in anticipation for the second release. As you can see here, it peaked at 57,025 3 months ago, right, in anticipation for the sequel. If you look at how the game did when it initially released, you're going to see that around February 2018, it hit an all-time peak of 33,000. So it's nowhere near the same, right? But this game has been out for a long time. It's been out for 6 years, since January of 2019. So over 6 years, just like Hollow Knight, it built a player base that was steadily growing, by the way. You can see the concurrent numbers slowly but surely growing throughout multiple different years. And then eventually what ends up happening is all these people amount to millions of sales, right? Anywhere between 4 million to 10 million sales just on Steam alone. So when you understand this, you start to realize that, oh yeah, there is a built-in fan base there that is big enough that is going to explode when the sequel comes out, just like Hollow Knight Silksong did, which is why we are currently at 253,898 players, right? So a massive number. I had a couple of people that came into my streams and would tell me that there's no way that this game is going to do these numbers. Because I remember saying this game was going to hit 200,000. I didn't think it was going to hit 250,000, but I definitely thought it was going to hit 200,000. You can go back to my old streams and check it yourself if you don't believe me. 200,000 I felt like was a pretty easy call considering the history with this game. Now, there is another video game that has come out today as well, and that is none other than Marathon. If you look at Marathon, they are also doing better than I said. I thought this game was going to do about 75,000 concurrent players, and it actually hit an all-time peak of 88,337. Now, Marathon is a $40 video game. Slay the Spire is a $25 video game. So what does that mean, boys? If Slay the Spire is on the #1 top revenue list, and Marathon is #2 or #3 or whatever, and it's the more expensive game, that means Slay the Spire is selling way more copies than Marathon could ever hope for, right? Because if you are the cheaper video game, but you're still higher in revenue, that means you sold way more copies than the more expensive video game. Now, why are we talking about Slay the Spire other than to just, congratulate the game for doing an amazing job and a great release? Well, we're talking about Slay the Spire because indie video games, as we've been talking about for the past, year now, these video games have taken over the entire global stage. It's at the point now where indie video games are truthfully just outshining AAA in every capacity. We live in a time where AAA video games, they'll look at you, developers will look at you, studios will look at you and say, we don't know what you want, right? Or they'll pretend like they don't know what you want when we all know they do. But they'll say, we don't know what you want. We're giving you this. We're giving you that. We're doing everything. We're investing all this money. We're investing maximum budgets on our video games. Nobody wants to buy new video games. You have journalists running damage control for AAA studios trying to convince everybody that nobody's buying video games now. What the fuck do you mean nobody's buying video games now? Are you out of your mind? Slay the Spire is proof, and there's other video games that are also proof, that people are indeed buying video games. That's an absolute cope. The people that say nobody's buying video games are the ones that are trying to nickel and dime you. They're trying to whore you out with microtransactions 24/7. They're trying to sell you live service garbage instead of a good overall experience. They're trying to hold back content and sell it to you as day one DLC. They're trying to do all these things while trying to pretend like they're on your side. Well, we all know that's not true. And Slay the Spire is a prime example of what happens when you literally just give people what they want. Slay the Spire players were looking for a sequel that would give them what they want. And right now, with over 2,000 reviews, it's at almost a 92% positive ratio, and it's clearly being rewarded by everybody showing up. This is what happens when you make a sequel that people actually want, and you don't turn it into something that, subverts expectations. You don't turn it into a Spider-Man 2. You don't turn it into a Ghost of Yotei. You don't turn it into a God of War Ragnarok. You take the first game and you put in everything that people loved about it, and you make a second game that people are asking for. And this is what happens. The numbers drastically shoot up compared to the first one, and it's not even close. And your audience that gave you all their money in the beginning, they stuck around and they continue to give you their money, right? So with Marathon, the reason why I find this to be funny is because, again, this is Sony we're talking about, right? This is Bungie. They're doubling down and tripling down on live service video games, telling you that this is what they want to continue making. We just heard rumors that they're apparently pulling out single-player video games from PC. I don't believe that, but that's the rumor going around right now. They would also try to convince you that single-player games don't sell. They're still trying to convince you of that. They're trying to convince you of all these things, and yet you have what we call a narrative destroyer, which is exactly what Slay the Spire is. Slay the Spire is indeed a narrative destroyer, just like Schedule 1 was a narrative destroyer. Now, what makes all of this so funny to me and really drives the point home is that Marathon got destroyed not just in concurrent numbers, but they also got roasted. They got roasted by the official Slay the Spire 2 account over on X. And it is glorious. It is absolutely glorious, right? So it says, with both Marathon and Slay the Spire 2 officially out, the trend has continued, with everyone flocking to see how Bungie's live service extraction shooter fared against a mega popular indie game sequel. Consider the indie game the clear-cut winner, and it's not just the fans who have taken note. Take it to social media, Megacrit, which is the developers behind Slay the Spire 2, they actually congratulated Marathon on its long-awaited launch, not before ending with a subtle jab at the current landscape between the two titles. It says, don't let small indie passion projects like this pass you by just because Slay the Spire 2 is out. Ouch, boys. Ouch. So, that's pretty funny. I love to see it. I love to see the little smack in the face. Good job there, Slay the Spire. Listen, man, indie games are going to continue to pass up these non-indie video games. And it's just going to keep happening, right? It's going to keep happening for the year and beyond, I think. Because here's the thing. Indie games of today are not indie games of yesterday, right? People who didn't give indie games a chance in the past, they didn't do it because they had this preconceived notion about what an indie game actually is, okay? Indie games are not what they used to be. They're not these random low-budget video games anymore. People have the ability now more than ever with modern technology, and especially with the rise of AI, people have the ability to make video games faster and in a way that they never were before. And you are seeing more and more indie games that are coming out that are proving that AAA is not the end-all, be-all. You don't need AAA video games in order to be satisfied as a gamer anymore. The days of major releases and only major releases getting all the headlines, those days are gone. You even have AAA developers that are leaving their studios to form their own indie studios so that they could get away from the creative, just stifling that they have to deal with over at their studios, right? Because, major publishers are creatively stifling. They have all these rules and regulations. They always want to change things. They always want to, make things a little bit more modern and all that stuff for the, certain audience that doesn't buy video games. They want to do all these things. So getting away from that and making your own studio is highly sought after by a lot of people. And it's becoming more and more attractive for the average developer to do so. So I think this is great. I just wanted to celebrate Slay the Spire and say congratulations to them again for a massive W for the indie scene yet again. And it proves that the more that you continue to give people what they want and you respect the people who bought your first game, if you do that and release a second game that for the most part, no game is perfect, obviously, but for the most part gives people what they seemingly want out of the sequel, You're going to have a win on your hands. You're not going to have a situation where you have to come up with excuses as to why your sequel failed. You're not going to have people go online and try to gaslight you and convince you that the developers never expected their sequel to do better than the first game. You're never going to have that because you're not forced to have that. Those are strategies that are utilized by people that are forced to make up bullshit as to the reason why the sequels to their favorite video games might not have sold as well as the first one. But anybody with a brain knows that if a sequel is being made with the intention to surpass the first game. And it could surpass it barely, it could surpass it by leaps and bounds, or it could flop. You obviously want it to surpass. And this is a prime example of just that. So, hey, congratulations, Slay the Spire. I think this is amazing, and you'll love to see it. And I can't wait to check out the game personally. I fully plan to do so. So make sure you guys comment on this video down below. Otherwise, I'm going to be sad. Your view's not going to count. And then I'm going to have to come up with excuses as to why your view didn't count. It's not good. We got David Vest with it too. Good games aren't review bomb like bad ones. Isn't that interesting? How suddenly the whole review bombing thing just kind of goes out the window. It's kind of amazing, right? But I wouldn't be surprised if they try to say, oh, Slay the Spire is for the chuds. That's why. What a joke, man. The truth is that games like Slay the Spire, everybody's playing. You got wokies, you got the chuds, you got everybody in between. They're all playing games like this, which is why games like this succeed. You even have Resident Evil Requiem. Requiem hit fucking 330 some odd thousand. It's crazy, right? Resident Evil Requiem hit 300 some odd thousand, but it's experiencing a pretty fast drop off because the game's pretty short. If you look here, 344,214 6 days ago. Now it's at 107,000. People are beating this game pretty quickly. So, but hey, it's still crazy numbers, man. Crazy, crazy numbers. And that's a single player game. That's a single player game that supposedly nobody buys anymore. God, these developers, they really try to sell you that story or something else. Caps Lock with a 10. AI will get to the point where every bored Joe Schmo can make the perfect game he wanted. And I mean no jank perfect. And the bar can only get raised by the people who actually make games. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I'm telling you, man, technology is in an amazing space right now where it is truly allowing people to do things that were never possible before. And it's not even just in the video game space. You know, you got like the comic book space. You got people making their own mangas too. On top of that, it's crazy, man. People have the ability to do things that they were never able to before. So if somebody has a good story to tell and they can really put it together, where there's a will, there's a way, and they'll make it happen. They'll make it happen. All right, boys. I think that's it. Hold on. Let me check one thing really quick. Give me 1 second. I want to check one thing really, really fast. So we're gonna be playing Resident Evil Requiem tonight. Hopefully, if I have time. I don't know. We'll see. I'm still thinking about it. We're gonna play some Resident Evil Requiem tonight. What I would suggest is I don't have the link just yet. I gotta make it. So if you're not gonna stick around for the Waifu Battle, I appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for the support tonight and for hanging out with us today. I will be dropping the link shortly during the Waifu Battle so that those of you who don't want to stick around, I just have to do the Waifu Battle intro first, and I'll make it in the background. So let's do that in the meantime, and then we'll go from there. But thank you guys again for the support. Appreciate it. Resident Evil 9. I mean, listen, I'm just reviewing a video game. Whether you like it or not, it is what it is. All right, boys, Waifu Battle, and then we're going to get into the other stream. Let's go. We're making some decent time today. Here we go. All right, boys, Waifu Battle's here. If you guys missed the last Waifu Battle, we crowned a brand new champion, somebody who you guys are very familiar with, I would imagine. And if you're not, well, then I don't know what to tell you, but it's none other than the one and the only Hinata, ladies and gentlemen, obviously. Looking good. Now, before we bring out the challenge, let's go over the rules of engagement. Rule number 1. All super chats during the Waifu Battle can and will count towards a particular waifu. But the only way they're going to count is if you put the name of the waifu in the super chat first. You got to put the name first. If you do not put the name of the wife in the super chat first, then it will not count. It does not matter how big they are. If you super chat after the fact, you put the name of the wifey, you forgot to put the first time first, and I will make it count. Rule number 2. You could vote for any waifu regardless of who's on the screen. It doesn't matter. You could vote for the champion who is Hinata, or you could vote for the challenger who you're about to find out. It doesn't matter who's on screen at the time. Last but not least, after the second waifu comes off screen, I'm going to do a 30-second countdown. After that 30-second countdown, no more super chats are going to count. It doesn't matter how big they are. The last super chat that shows up on my screen will be the one that counts. So please, if you're going to vote, vote early and vote hard, ladies and gentlemen. Do we understand the rules? Nope. We don't understand the rules. All right, boys, listen, I didn't get to make a video, unfortunately. Again, I had no time today. It's been just a fucking mess. But we got an interesting challenger today. And considering there is a certain franchise that's out there right now that's very popular, that everybody's talking about, I figure we could bring back a waifu from that franchise and see if she could beat Hinata. Again, I'm not sure, but she might as well try. All right. The challenger that's going to go up against Hinata is going to be none other than the one and the only Jill from Resident Evil, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start the clock and let's see who is going to win. Is it going to be Hinata or is it going to be Jill? Pretty stacked Jill, by the way. I kind of, fixed it a little bit. Hinata versus Jill, boys. Let's find out. I got to lower the music a little bit. And in the meantime, I'm going to set up the gaming stream while you guys pick between the two waifus. You guys let me know whatever way we're going to go. Plus, we're playing Resident Evil tonight, so it kind of makes sense, right? We got Crash Collins with a 5 over on Rumble, like an absolute boss, immediately for Jill. So I guess we got a Resident Evil fan. Thank you so much, Crash Collins. I appreciate that, brother. We got Toxin with a 2 for Jill Valentine, the Resident Evil 3 remake version. Thank you, Toxin. Kiara Lunar with a 2 says Jill. She makes me see stars. That makes sense. Shout out to you, Kiara Lunar. Caps Lock with a 10 for Jill. Damn, Jill fans are coming out strong today, man. Holy shit. Shout out to Caps Lock. Appreciate that. Then we got Dead Eyes Lock with $1 says Jill. You were almost a Jill sandwich. Makes sense, man. It makes sense, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. We got Marius with a 5 saying Jill, please. Bro, no votes for Hinata. I know. I just know Sonia's felt it right now. She is not happy. There's no way that she's happy right now. Oh, there's no way she's happy. Midnight Mike with a 5 over on Rumble says Jill, boobs. Thank you. Appreciate that. And then we got Raza with a 5 says Jill, sorry, Sonia. Damn, Raza's betraying Sonia. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Sonia's not going to be happy about that. Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm just setting up the stream. Sorry. That's crazy. Has there been a single vote for Hinata? I guess Dr. Spike's not here to save the day for Hinata. What a shame. I'm going to check donos in 2 seconds. Hold on, I'm just setting up the stream. Sorry, boys. There we go. Okay. Set that up. All right, let's see what we got. We got Storm with a PLN 10 says Jill with Barrett. Hey, shout out to Storm. Appreciate that. BioT-Wolf coming in to try to save Hinata. Look at this, man. With a 10. Damn. Shout out to BioT-Wolf. Stopping Hinata from being banned. It's an amazing thing. Timothy with a $25 banger for Hinata. Thank you so much, Timothy. Holy shit. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This ain't good, boys. Jill fans, we got a little bit of a fight going on right now. K-Styles with a 20 for Hinata. Maybe try Ada Wong next. Oh, no. Oh, shit. Uh-oh. They came out of the woodwork, boys. They came out of the woodwork. All right. It's time to bring out none other than the one and the only Hinata, ladies and gentlemen. Got a little bit of a short hair version. Just to test it out, boys. Just to test it out. Let's see who's going to win. It doesn't matter. You're voting for the waifu. Hinata versus Jill. And this one has 3 hands. Can you spot the third hand? Can you spot the third hand to make it extra creepy? Can you see her third hand? Can you see her third hand? Gray the Merchant with $1 says, Leon, overall a great night, everyone. Slay the Spire 2 is here. 2 felt. Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Creepier says, I see it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Can you see the third hand? Oh, man. I saw that. I just saw that now, and I'm like, oh, shit. Well, we're going to rock with it. It is what it is. It is what it is. We're going to rock with it, boys. We're going to rock with it. Oh, man. That's so funny. We got Draconic with a 10-banger over on Rumble. For Hinata, I'll side with Sonya this time. Uh-oh. Guys, Hinata is now in the lead. I don't know if we have any big hitters for Jill, but we need some help here, boys. Because it's not looking good, boys. It is not looking good. We are getting felted a little bit. They have caught up drastically. Drastically, they've caught up. That's a bit problematic. Oh, boy. Well, we'll keep trying. We'll keep trying, man. Holy shit. There it is. 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 Our cuz with a $100 Red Boy hyper banger for Jill. And says Jill fought a rocket launcher wielding nemesis and won by herself. Shout out to fucking our cuz, man. Thank you so much, my man. I appreciate that very much. That's insane. Melodic Method with a 20. Hinata, I have ideas for that third hand. Clean dishes faster. You had me in the first half, not gonna lie. You had me in the first half, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, man. You had me in the first half. Holy shit. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We got a Genetic Spore with $1 says, Jill, get that 3-armed, 6-fingered Bizatch out of here. Damn. Crash Collins with a 5. Jill, just know to deform Hinata. Damn. Damn, boys. Is that what's going on today? Hey, listen, it is what it is. We're fighting strong, okay? We're doing what we got to do. We're fighting strong. Holy fuck. Gaming Delusions. Gaming Delusions out of nowhere. $100 Red Boy, a hyper banger, says, Jill, one of my wife's favorites to draw. She does character. Oh, that's cool. Character design. She says, Jill, old man Cad's choice. Holy shit, boys. Gaming Delusions out of nowhere. Pushing Jill in the lead with our cuz. That is a glorious thing. The Hinata fans got to figure it out now. Sonya's felt it. Look, why? Felt it. Felt it. Ron DFK with a 2. Jill. No Hinata AI. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Holy shit, boys. Gray the Merchant with $1 says, Jill, suffer, Sonya, suffer. Yo, this is funny. This is funny. Guys, I'm dropping the link for the gaming stream, by the way, on YouTube and Rumble, just in case you guys who are waiting for that. I'm putting it in the chat. That way you guys have it. Caps Lock with a 5 says, Jill, these shekels better be put towards your next game if you ever make one. Thank you, Caps Lock. Appreciate that. All right, here we go, boys. The final countdown. Who is it going to be? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Waiting on Rumble, waiting on Rumble, waiting on Rumble, waiting on Rumble, waiting on, and that is it, lady. Fuck!
Waifu Battle Belt is mine!
Holy shit. Holy shit.
Trey. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God, bro. What do I even say to that? All right. Let's go over the last couple of super chats. Hold on. Midnight Mike on Rumble with the 5 says, Jill, just not on that bad AI. Thank you, sir. Torinol with a 5 trolling us says, fear him. Thank you. I appreciate that. Trey Burkhalter with a $300 Red Boy Ultra Mega Hyper Banger. And all he said was Hinata, which means he does know how to follow the fucking rules. Shocker, Mr. Fuck the Rules. Now all of a sudden he knows how to follow the rules. Jesus Christ. And then for a 2, he says Warhammer Girls, Goblins, and Redheads. You know, what am I going to do with Trey, man? I don't even know. BioT1 with a 5 says Hinata Hypno did this to her because he lost his foot girl to her. No, I did not. No, I did not. Thank you for the 5. Caps Lock with a 5. These all counted, by the way, as long as they had names in it. Jill, these shekels bet. Oh, I already read that one. All right. Guys, I got to play some clips. While the mods count it up. In the meantime, first, though, we got tier 2. Shockingly, that's insane. And here we go. Shout out to all of you for an absolutely insane stream. That was a crazy waifu battle. Truthfully, that was a crazy waifu battle. Thank you so much. That got us to tier 2 and beyond. I appreciate that. The fuck? Trey for the 5. I follow the rules to slap my dick on the tape. This fucking guy, bro. I swear. The Omega Troll. I swear to God. Trey Burkhalter, let's begin with his clips, and we're going to go from there. And then after this, the mods will have the final number, which I'm sure is a bit of a feltoning. But here we go.
All right, boys, we have another Red Boy Hyper Banger. Let's bring the ladies in.
banger, bitches! Let's bring the ladies in!
Oh my god, it's a Red Boy Hyper Banger.
Shout out to you guys, Ben. Gaming Delusion, Stray Burkhalter, our cuz. I don't know what clip you want, brother. I need to know what clip you want so I know what to play for you, man. Let me know. In the meantime, I'll play it on the way out. What do we got? We got T-Jap. Holy shit, man. Jill at $256.13 against fucking Hinata at $390 flat. Trey literally saved Hinata from a feltoning that was happening by Jill. It wasn't even close. Oh my god, bro. Fuck. All right. Well, anyway, that means that the winner and still Waifu Battle champion is none other than the one and the only Hinata, ladies and gentlemen, saved by Trey. Because of course she was. Of course. Let's do it one more time, ladies and gentlemen. One more time. Let's go. There's a lot of coping tonight.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething.
And that's going to be it for the Waifu Battle, ladies and gentlemen. Hinata's going to go backstage, where she will face off against another waifu tomorrow. Hypnocast. Do not miss it, boys. Do not. Actually, no, I'm bugging. We're not doing Hypnocast tomorrow. I'm taking off tomorrow. I totally forgot. I have an event I'm going to tomorrow. So this is the last Waifu Battle for the week until Sunday. Totally forgot about that. Damn. Sorry, guys. Forgot about that. Tornall for a 2 says, Panda, you complain when they don't follow the rules. You complain when they do follow the rules. Pick a lane. I complain about it all. Just kidding. And then Caps Lock for a 5 says, I'm expecting a full chargeback later. Good. You can charge it back. It's all good. I'll still be fine. Appreciate you, brother. All right. Holy shit. Holy shit. It's amazing. Shout out to you guys. It's Thursday today. Yeah, it's Thursday today, but it's about to become Friday. You understand? So I'm taking off this Friday. Yeah. Anyway, guys, our cuz said he want Latinas. So we're going to play Latinas on the way out for our cuz, man. The fucking legend dropping $100 Red Boy Hyperbanger, bro. Guys, the raid is set up. We're going to raid ourselves over on Griffcast. I'm going to do some editing, set up everything, and then we're going to play some Resident Evil for as long as I can tonight. But I do have to go to bed a little bit earlier just to get ready for all the nonsense for tomorrow. So thank you guys so much for the insane support today. I appreciate it. It was a fun stream. Thank you, everybody, for liking the stream, commenting, spamming the chat, super chatting, gifting memberships, everything. I appreciate it. And, of course, shout out to the Hypno mods for doing what they do every single day. I appreciate you guys as well. I don't think there's any gifted games. I'm going to double check just to make sure. Nope, no gifted games. All right, we're ready to go. All right, I'll see you guys tonight for Resident Evil Requiem. Come on over. Or wait for the raid if you're too lazy. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, go be bigots and go be gooners. Bye.
Okay, everyone, we got another Red Boy Hyperbanger. Let's bring the ladies in.
I bring light. I bring light. I bring light. I bring light.